They say the woods have ears, but in the Appalachian Mountains, the woods have voices. There are parts of these ancient forests that have never been mapped. Trees so old they remember a time before humans. If you ever find yourself camping in the deep brush and hear your mother, your brother, or your best friend calling your name from the dark, do not answer, because out here, sound is a trap, and hunger has 1,000 faces. My name is Sarah, and I am the only one who made it back from Trail 402. This is why you should never hike after sunset. Welcome to the Archive of Fear. The Appalachian Trail glows under sunlight, but when dusk falls, shadows lengthen and hunger prowls. My friends, Ben and Chloe, were experienced hikers. We'd planned this trip for months, a 3-day trek through a restricted zone known as the Silent Gap at base camp. The locals stared at our route with wary eyes. One old man, sharpening a knife, stopped and fixed me with a gaze that felt like it could pierce bone. "If the birds stop singing," he whispered, "you stop walking." We laughed it off, foolishly. By 5 p.m. on day 2, the woods had gone silent. No crickets, no owls, no wind through the pine needles. The forest had collectively held its breath. We set up camp in a clearing, ancient oaks pressing in like sentinels. The air vibrated with a low hum that made my teeth ache. Ben tried to start a fire. The wood, dry as bone, refused. The oxygen seemed to vanish, sucked away by something unseen. By 10 p.m., we crawled into our 3-person tent. Darkness pressed against the nylon, absolute and suffocating. I was drifting off when I heard it, a faint rustle 20 feet away. Crunch, snap, heavy, rhythmic steps. Not the stagger of a deer, not the shuffle of a bear, but human. "Ben, did you hear that?" I whispered. He gripped his flashlight, knuckles white. "Yeah, someone's out there." Then the voice came, soft, melodic, familiar. "Sarah, is that you? I'm lost. I hurt my ankle. Please, help me." My blood froze. The voice wasn't dissimilar. It was me, perfect. Every quiver in my tone replicated. But I was inside the tent. My mouth clamped shut. Chloe gripped my arm, her nails digging in. "I'm not," I hissed. The voice came closer. "Ben, Chloe, it's so cold out here. Just open the tent. I can see the light." Outside, the thin nylon wall shimmered with a silhouette. Tall, spindly, human-shaped, but grotesquely wrong. Arms reaching past knees, neck elongated, twisted at an impossible angle. It scratched at the tent zipper. Scritch, scritch, scritch. Ben snapped. Adrenaline overrode fear. He grabbed his knife and maglite, yanked open the tent, and shone the beam into the forest. "Who's out there?" The figure froze. Pale, hairless, skin like wet parchment stretched over ribs. No nose, black slit eyes reflecting the light like cat eyes. It didn't flee, it stared. Its jaw unhinged, falling to its chest, and from the gaping maw came Ben's voice, screaming, "Who the hell is out there?" Before he could react, it lunged not to strike, but to wrap its long arms around him, dragging him into the black. No scream, just the echo of snapping branches fading into distance. Chloe and I were frozen in terror. Then came Ben's voice, echoing from deeper in the brush. "Help, it's got me, Sarah. Chloe, run." Then, wet gurgling, crunch, silence. The creature wasn't just a predator, it was a collector of voices, using Ben's last moments to lure us out. "We have to go," I whispered, "to the ranger station, before dawn." We abandoned gear, sprinting blindly. Trails twisted, markers vanished. Every tree looked identical. The forest shifted, and then the voices began, calling from every direction. Over here. I found the path. Don't go that way. Cliff ahead. The woods were alive, whispering, manipulating, trying to separate us, to break us. We reached a small wooden bridge spanning a dry creek bed. Standing in the middle was Ben, or what looked like him. His back was turned, red flannel shirt glowing dimly in the moonlight. "Ben," Chloe cried, stepping forward. Relief made her move too quickly. I yanked her back. "Wait, look at his feet," I shouted. Beneath that shirt, there were no boots. The legs were long, jointed like a predator's, ending in black, curved talons. The thing turned. The face wasn't Ben's. His skin was crudely draped over a pale, eyeless skull, a grotesque mask stretched over bone. It spoke, a chorus of our voices, all at once. "Where are you going, Sarah? We're just getting started." The creature twitched unnaturally, limbs snapping into impossible angles with sickening crack-pop sounds. "Chloe, don't look at it. Run for the creek," I screamed. We scrambled down the steep, muddy bank, sliding toward the dry bed. Behind us, the bridge creaked, then thudded as the creature dropped. Not like a man, but with the heavy, predatory weight of a four-legged beast. Then came Ben's voice, hollow, echoing, "Hey, hey, hey." The stones underfoot tripped us at every step. The forest blurred into black needles and twisted branches. Chloe collapsed into a hidden hole. "My leg, Sarah, it's broken," she sobbed, clutching her ankle. I knelt beside her. The forest went silent again. The laughter had stopped. I whispered, covering her mouth. "Listen." From the ridge above came a whistle. Light, cheerful. Ben's whistle. The sound grew, moving along the ridge. Moonlight glinted off a figure. Too tall, spine bent forward unnaturally. Over its shoulder, it carried something. A red flannel shirt. "It's not a ranger, Chloe," I said, gripping a thick branch. "It's baiting us." The whistling stopped. Static replaced its radio crackle, a voice calling. "Base to trail 402, do you copy?" Over it, mimicked a real radio perfectly. "We have your location, Sarah. Stay where you are." Over. Chloe moved to stand. I shoved her down. "It's a trick. Rangers don't know our names yet." The static warped into a low, guttural growl that vibrated the creek bed. Then the creature leaped from the ridge, landing 30 feet away. Skin mottled grey-white, thin translucent hair, flat, featureless skull. 2 rows of jagged, needle-like teeth. Its spindly arms dragged in the dirt, each movement emitting a new sound. A baby crying, a woman screaming, a chainsaw tearing, a living library of death. Why won't it just kill us? Chloe whimpered, burying her face in my shoulder. I understood. It wasn't hunting for food, it was hunting for voices. Every scream, every whisper, every heartbeat, it collected and perfected. It stopped, circling, then spoke in Chloe's voice, her sobs from 2 minutes ago, replicated perfectly. I spotted a small cave behind the creek, hidden by ivy. "On 3, we crawl," I whispered. I tossed dry leaves to the left. The creature's head snapped toward the noise. Now, we squeezed into the crevice just as a massive claw slammed into the rock where we'd been. The cave barely fit us. Its pale, multi-jointed fingers groped the air, inches from my face. The smell of wet fur, decay, and stagnant blood filled my nostrils. It spoke again, this time the old man from base camp. "Told you, stop walking," when the birds stopped singing. The claws scraped granite, sparks flying, screechery. Hours passed. We huddled in the back of the freezing cave, pressed against the jagged rock, our bodies shivering uncontrollably. The creature's rhythmic breathing echoed through the tunnel like a drum marking our doom. It would go silent for long stretches, and for a moment, I almost believed it had left. Then bang, a scream in Ben's voice ripped through the cave entrance. "Sarah, I'm so cold. Please let me in." I tightened my grip on the branch, knuckles white, nails digging into the wood until they bled. The sound wasn't just mimicry, was a lure, a knife twisting in our fear. Chloe trembled beside me, pale teeth chattering. Her leg throbbed violently, the pain intensified by the cold. If we didn't move by dawn, hypothermia would claim us before the creature ever did. Every instinct screamed, "Stay quiet," but staying meant freezing to death. Every second we lingered, the creature was learning, studying the timbre of our breaths, the microflinch of our bodies, memorizing exactly how to hunt us. I exhaled slowly, trying to steady my pulse. Dawn was hours away, but we had to act. We had to escape, or the silent gap would claim us and we would become nothing more than voices, trapped in its endless, echoing library of horror. As the first pale grey of dawn seeped through the trees, the creature let out a horrific, multitonal roar, a symphony of every voice it had ever stolen. It was a choir of the damned, twisting and warping in the cold morning air. Then came another sound, heavy boots crunching on leaves and barking dogs. Search and rescue, anyone in the cave. A deep, booming voice called. Chloe gasped, a sob of relief escaping her lips. "Over here, we're in here," she screamed, her hope palpable. I lunged toward her, but a cold knot of dread froze me in place. The barking, it was too perfect. Every bark identical, same length, same pitch, like a recording, endlessly looped. I grabbed Chloe by the shoulders, shaking her. Don't scream." "But Sarah, let go. They're here. Rescue." I cut her off, pointing at the cave entrance. The shadows cast across the forest floor didn't match human shapes. They were tall, spindly, grotesque. Limbs bending in impossible angles like some nightmare spider. The dogs barked faster now, overlapping until it became a mechanical percussion bark 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 bark, grating against our ears. And then the ranger's voice glitched. "Search and race anyone in the co. Chloe went limp in my arms. Her hope evaporated like mist. That was no rescue team. That was the creature, mocking us, bending reality and sound into its terrible will. I hugged her close, whispering against her hair. "It's still hunting us. They've never stopped." The creature, the one that had been wearing Ben's shirt, wasn't alone. From the ridges above the cave, 3 more slid down the rock face, moving with a jerky, unnatural grace, their translucent skin glowing faintly in the grey morning light. They surrounded the cave mouth, bone-masked heads tilting, featureless yet somehow calculating. They didn't growl or snarl. Instead, they replayed our own conversation from moments ago. "Chloe, on 3, we crawl. Now, Sarah, let go. They're here." The voices echoed back at us from every direction, like being trapped in a hall of mirrors made of sound. I realized then, we weren't prey. We were a performance. They were practicing. The largest of them stepped forward. Its chest cavity split open like a jagged wound was filled with strands of human hair. It pulled a fistful and began weaving it into its grey flesh, forming a crude, new face. And then, in the voice of my mother, it whispered, "Sarah, honey, why are you being so difficult? Just come outside. It's time for breakfast." I shivered. We had to act. "We have to burn them," I hissed to Chloe. I remembered the emergency kit in my jacket pocket. 3 waterproof matches, a tin of petroleum jelly. If I could ignite the dry ivy draping the cave entrance, maybe the smoke would mask our scent. Maybe it would drive them back. I smeared the jelly onto a handful of dead leaves, struck a match, and lit them. The tiny spark grew into a flickering orange flame in the grey dawn. The creatures recoiled instantly. They hated the heat, the light, the life in fire. I shoved the flaming leaves into the thick, dry ivy. Orange flames erupted, sending thick black smoke curling toward the monsters. Their coordinated shriek shattered the silence, a cacophony of stolen voices screaming in terror and rage. They retreated, vanishing into the fog of the silent gap. Now, Chloe, while they're blinded, I grabbed her under the arms and dragged her through the smoke, down the slope, away from the cave. We didn't run toward the trail. We ran toward the sun. I knew the ranger station lay east. My lungs burned, Chloe's weight nearly pulling me down the ridge, but we pushed forward. At the crest, I risked a glance back. The smoke had begun to thin. The four creatures stood in the creek bed below, perfectly still. They weren't chasing us, they were watching. And then, in a chorus of 100 voices ours, Ben's, Chloe's, mine, they spoke as one. Run, Sarah. The further you go, the louder you scream. The louder you scream, the more we learn. We reached a fire tower about 2 miles from the cave. The structure was old, rotting, a skeleton of wood barely clanging together. But it was high enough to give us a view over the Appalachian canopy. Every step on the rickety stairs was a gamble. The wood groaned beneath our weight, threatening to splinter. Once inside the glass observation booth, I locked the trapdoor and collapsed against the railing. From this height, the mountains stretched endlessly, a sea of green and grey. Beautiful, terrifying. Beneath that canopy, something wore my friend's skin. Chloe's leg had turned a dark, sickly purple. I tore my belt into strips and fashioned a splint, but I knew shock was creeping in. My hands shook as I fumbled with the rusted radio on the tower desk. Static, white noise, static. Then a signal cut through, rhythmic, tapping, tap, 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 tap. The same sound the creatures had made in the tent. They were inside the radio. Everywhere, Sarah. Look, Chloe's trembling finger pointed toward the forest below. A figure emerged from the tree line. Ben, walking normally. No limping, no twitching. He looked up at the tower, raised his hand in a wave. Sarah, Chloe, I'm here. I found a group of hikers. They have a satellite phone. It sounded perfect, so real. My heart leaped. My soul screamed to believe him. But then he smiled. 5 minutes. He didn't blink. His hand froze mid-wave. Something was wrong. More figures emerged from the woods. A woman in a hiking dress. A boy in a scout uniform. A pair of elderly bird watchers. They clustered around the tower. Silent statues in a forested graveyard. Then, all at once, they opened their mouths. A wall of sound erupted, 1,000 birds singing at once. But it wasn't music. It was mechanical, scraping, a vibrating screech that rattled the glass and pressed against my skull. The people didn't move, didn't blink. Their jaws stayed locked in that impossible gape. Chloe curled into a fetal position, hands clamped over her ears. Make it stop, Sarah, please. Just make it stop. I glanced at the trapdoor. It shuddered violently. Something was climbing the stairs. Thud, thud, thud. Heavy, slow, deliberate. Not the jerky. Pale creatures from the creek these were like a man in boots, purposeful, relentless. My palms slick with sweat. I grabbed the fire axe from the wall. The trapdoor rattled. Then a voice, soft, calm, familiar. Ben's real voice. "Sarah, it's me. I'm really here. They let me go. They want you to see what I saw. Go away," I screamed, swinging the axe into the wooden floor next to the trapdoor. "You're not Ben. Ben is dead." The voice outside sighed soft, mournful, impossibly human. "I'm not dead, Sarah. I'm just shared. We're all shared now." The trapdoor warped before my eyes. Pale, translucent fingers pressed through the cracks, bending unnaturally, stretching like smoke. They weren't breaking wood, they were dissolving it, their flesh melting into a liquid grey mist that slithered across the floor of the booth. The mist pooled, coalescing into the shape of a man. Ben, but not Ben. His eyes were voids of swirling white static. He reached toward Chloe. "Don't fear the silence, Chloe. The woods, they are a library. We are the books." I swung the axe with all my strength. It buried into the entity's shoulder with a hollow thunk. No blood, only a puff of grey dust and the call of a crow echoing from the misty chest. It didn't flinch. It tilted its head at the broken axe, then toward me. Its face shifted first, the old man from camp, then the scout boy, then my mother. "You have such a beautiful scream, Sarah, the loudest we've heard in 50 years. We've decided to make it our anthem." With unnatural strength, it grasped the axe handle and snapped the steel head off like a dry twig. I looked at Chloe. She wasn't screaming anymore. Her vacant, peaceful expression chilled me. Glowing blue eyes hers now. Not hers told me she was already being uploaded. The archive was taking her. There was no escape. Not for us. The silent gap wasn't a place. It was a living, hungry consciousness, using these mountains as its hunting ground. Below, the crowd had stopped singing. They were frozen, pointing at me, their featureless faces stretched in anticipation. I grabbed the emergency flare, the last one. I didn't aim it at the monsters. I aimed it at the dry, gasoline-soaked floor of the fire tower. "If you want my voice," I whispered, my words cracking under the weight of terror, "you're going to have to catch it while it burns." I struck the flare. The magnesium fire erupted in a brilliant, blinding inferno. The grey morning became a crimson hellscape. Smoke thickened, choking and curling around the entity. The misty shape that had been Ben screamed not with a voice, but a distortion of every sound it had ever stolen. The tower groaned, the ancient beams cracking under the heat. I could see the shadows of the creatures convulsing in the firelight, their eyeless heads snapping back, the blue light in Chloe's eyes flickering violently. I raised my arms, letting the flames lick my fingers. Every scream, every distortion, every borrowed voice, it all surged into the blaze. If they wanted me, they would have to burn me too. And as the fire climbed higher, the first real, human sound I had made in hours rang out. My scream, raw and furious, cutting through the forest like a blade. The flames danced. The archive recoiled. The mountains themselves seemed to wail in protest, the wind carrying the smell of burning pine and ash. For a heartbeat, I felt power, control, not survival, not yet, but control over the sound that had been hunting me. The entity shrieked a sound of 1,000 dying radios. Its misty form evaporated in the intense heat. Flames licked at my boots, smoke filling my lungs. I looked at Chloe one last time. She smiled at me, a real, human smile, just as the floor beneath us gave way. We fell together, surrounded by a pillar of fire, descending into the dark green canopy of the Appalachian woods. The fire tower collapsed in a roar of sparks and ash. When the real search and rescue team arrived 2 days later, guided by the smoke, they found nothing but charred wood and melted glass. No bodies, no footprints, no sign of life. The lead ranger sat on a stump, wiping sweat from his brow. "Third group this year," he muttered. "They just vanish into thin air." He keyed his radio base. "This is Ranger Miller. We've reached the tower. Total loss. No sign of hikers." Over, static filled the speaker. Then a voice, clear, calm, feminine, cut through the interference. "Base, this is Sarah. I'm right here. Can't you hear me? I'm in the trees." The ranger froze. He looked up. The birds had stopped singing, and from every direction, the forest whispered his name. The end.